Welcome to Advisor Abbate's personal YouTube channel, AA video channel, advice you can trust. My name is Caio Goncalves, and I'm thrilled to be here hosting Advisor Abbate's YouTube channel weekly webcast. AA is the CEO of Uxora, an international corporate advisor. Every week, he and I will be discussing topics ranging from politics to international affairs, travel, and even business advice. Joining us, AA. Why don't we start with you telling us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I'm a very passionate individual, and I get bored quite easily, actually, with operations. And I'm best suited for strategic planning. And during the process of strategic planning, I create the entire structure for the new organization. As you know, we are in international corporate management, and that's imperative for the commencement of a new activity. And how do I compensate for this boredom? I compensate by working in 3 different continents and networking across these continents. I travel every other week. So I may go to Western Europe and do a 10-day marathon intervention. I call it a marathon intervention, a meeting with the existing clients and entrepreneurs.
Is that ever overwhelming, the constant travel, or is that where you really feel at your best, just traveling and applying all of your skills all over the world?
Traveling for me, changing places, the constant change generates a lot of energy for me. It could be tiring for certain individuals, I understand it, but moving from place to place generates more energy and allows me to plant seeds, have a discussion with the existing clients and entrepreneurs. Then clearly this is about business, and business decisions take a little longer, so I let them think it over. Then I move on to Asia, and then I let them think it over. Then I come back to the US, I do the same. And by the time I return to Western Europe, they have made decisions.
You're back to square one.
No, they have answers from me.
Right.
So some of them will have answers, and others will discuss potential business with me. And that's how I'm able to compensate my boredom, to quickly becoming bored. And it's been an issue that I was able to resolve over the years.
Now, what is your goal in really getting this new platform for your personal YouTube channel?
I realize that it's very difficult for entrepreneurs at all levels to obtain real information on how to go about conducting business in Western Europe, the US, mainland China, or Special Administrative Region of Hong Kong, because many of these entrepreneurs, business people, business owners, and CEOs rely on the know-how of tax attorneys, commercial attorneys, accountants, and other professionals that are not specialized in corporate management or in international business. And they give you the advice based on their practice, their limited knowledge of international business. Many of them have never owned a business.
Wow.
And so, understanding this, I want to create a platform where I can give some real answers of real life experiences, true current facts of what is happening today. International corporate management is ever evolving. And why is it ever evolving? Not as a process, but where you're conducting the business. So unless you're conducting business every day in mainland China, in Hong Kong, in Western Europe, in the US, conducting business daily, interacting with banks, interacting with government agencies, interacting with the public, who is influenced by current technology, different trends developing, you don't know what to do. If you think you have done business in China, for example, 3 years ago, and think you can go back into business today,
Totally different.
it's different.
So would you say that it's important to have a constant level of flexibility in what you do?
I mean, certainly it's imperative, having flexibility, having an open mind, not resisting what others are doing, not ever thinking that your way is better than the others, not ever thinking like the typical tourist that would go to a foreign country and perhaps expecting them to speak English or being surprised why they're doing things differently than how I'm doing it at home. And it's obvious they're going to be doing things differently, accepting that every institution, every government, every business overseas is no different than any other business in America, and as such, everyone has their own policies, their own regulations, their own methods, and they should be respected as such. So when you're conducting business overseas, you have to ask yourself, and those people with whom you're conducting business, what is your rule? How can I quickly understand what your rule is, what your policies are, and how I can quickly accommodate those rules, adjust according to your rules, so I can follow your laws and be able to do business properly, like a local here.
Now, transitioning a little bit back to YouTube specifically.
Sure.
I'm sure you're aware that it's not extremely common for CEOs of companies to speak candidly on camera, let alone to develop their own YouTube channel. So would you say that there's some risk into opening yourself up online in this format?
There is risk to the extent that people will comment based on their opinions, and opinions are based on their experiences. And everybody will have had their own experiences in different ways. Some may have very little, some may think they have certain knowledge, others will comment because they have misunderstanding about what international corporate management is, but this is a platform for that. I want to welcome every opinion. I want to help people that are curious, because I'm curious myself. So a question is a question. We're not here, I don't intend to comment or criticize a particular question. I'm here to answer any question.
Open dialogue.
I want to have a conversation with the public. I want this to be an opportunity to be an open line with the public and engage at any level. It could be a student of business. It could be a young entrepreneur thinking about his first startup on an international level. It could be the CEO of an organization. It could be a business owner. Or it could be a person who is not involved in business but is thinking about preserving the legacy for their family by investing in properties overseas for the benefit of their children or the benefit of their family, for the future education or whatever it may be, to preserve wealth, to accumulate wealth. And in that case, through our corporate management, we're able to set up a company, purchase property, mobile or immobile assets on their behalf, and manage the properties and manage the assets. So it's a platform for everybody, because what Oxora has done is taking a process, which is called corporate management, and turned it into an outsourcing business. Well, we're pioneers in this. There's no other company that offers this type of service on the market. And I want to elaborate on this. I want to explain what it is, and I want to be able to give answers to people.
So, on the subject of advising, what would you say to young entrepreneurs, we're talking about startups, young businesses, who are really struggling, may have an idea, but are really struggling with finding their true passion in a business? How would you advise someone, specifically a young person, to guide them to what their passion is?
The first step, if they are at the moment employed or unemployed, and they are seeking to commence an activity, I would say make sure you don't get into debt. Because debt is a dangerous area. Debt, in turn, will cause you to make decisions you don't want to make. So freeing yourself from debt, living in a very humble way, will give you more choices. Often, very young people finishing college or already during college, and then they finish college, they have desires. I had them myself, I understand. They have desires. They want to get a car. They want to have their own apartment. They want to buy expensive clothing. They want to get a motorcycle. They want to buy a boat. Everybody has a different desire. They want to travel the world. They want to do these different things. So how do you accomplish this? Well, usually you get a first job. And it's very unlikely that you'll land, that the first job is going to be exactly what you wanted to do or perhaps what you studied. Okay? But what happens, the catch is you get the first job, you get that paycheck, and you start creating your life around that paycheck. And that's the detriment. That's the beginning of creating debt. And you want to buy these nice things, and then these nice things will cause you to your life to be dictated by the job that you have. Then you get stuck with it for a while, and then you want to change because you're not happy with it, and the next company will want to hire you to do exactly what you have been doing that you didn't like. And that's why many people end up having jobs that they are unhappy about. So my advice is stay out of debt, stay clean, stay sober, and create luck by being prepared and recognizing opportunity, and take advantage of the opportunity.
And how important is it for a professional to love what he or she does every day?
It's imperative. Imperative.
You know, we hear that all the time, that,
Yeah.
that it makes all the difference in the world, but truly, how, you know, for someone, if you've had jobs that you haven't liked,
Sure.
What really is the difference now saying I travel all over the world, but I love what I'm doing?
Absolutely. When the passage is made from when you are doing something that you love to doing something that you labor for, is that the activity of laboring for is called a job, and the other one is only called an activity. And when you're doing something that you love is an activity. You no longer call it work. It's an activity that you do. And you're not keeping track of your time anymore. And you constantly generate energy from what you're doing. I'm looking forward after we're done with the show about what I need to do next. And I don't know what time it is. I mean, yesterday, a typical example, at the end of the day, some of my employees came by my office to say, I'm leaving, you know, see you tomorrow. And you're leaving already. And I went to look, it was 6 p.m. So I felt it was noon. Right. So you have to do what you love, because what could be an example, right? If you are living alone, and it's unlikely you're going to prepare some food for yourself, right? It's not as rewarding. But if you have your friends over, or you have your family over, you have some guests over, then you labor to do something like that, and you do it with joy. You know, it's rewarding. And it's touching your emotions, because then you're doing something with love. They'll enjoy their food, and it gives you rewarding, you know, to give a very simple example, right?
For sure.
Right? It's sharing. It's about sharing. So you share your passion, you enjoy the passion, it motivates you, and emotions spark other emotions. And it brings all about positiveness for you and for the people that are around you. Okay? Another important factor is the cause. Why are you doing it for? The last thing you want to do is get a job for money or work for money. That is the last thing that you want to do. You need to do an activity for a cause.
We're going to leave off here with AA, but we'll be back next week. And we invite all of our viewers online to leave questions that AA and I will look to answer next week. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And you can follow AA Advisor Abbate on YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thank you.
Cheers.
We invite all of our viewers online to submit questions in the comment section. Each week, we will select a question to be answered by AA on the webcast. If you want to follow us, please find Advisor Abbate on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And we thank you for your time.